Good morning. Welcome to July at Happenstance. I guess this is winter, but you wouldn't think it today. It's very warm, it's very sunny, not a cloud in the sky, nothing. 2 days ago I picked up some new bare-rooted fruit trees and planted them. So I'll show you where they are and show you anything new that's happened since the last month. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So over here, I decided to plant the hazelnut trees here because there's already trees behind it, so I won't be losing any of my views. So this is the first hazelnut, which is a Wanless Pride, and this one is a TB Cosford. So these two will cross. How wonderful. And over here I planted a new fig, which is called Preston Prolific. I make tags for them. If I find soft drink cans on the side of the road, I pick them up and cut them up, and then I can use a biro and make permanent tags with them. So this is the fig. I may have to put in star pickets and poly pipe so I can drape a net over at fruiting time. In fact, I'm pretty sure I'll have to do that. Today I'm going to let Simon and Brett come and have their lunch on my veranda here and cook their sausages here, even though they're not working for me today. So like I said, they're not working here for me, but I said that they could have their lunch here. I'm actually cooking their sausages for them. I didn't want to cook sausages in the yurt, so I'll just lit a little fire, and there they are. They can have their lunch here on the veranda. I've picked them a container, a bowl full of fresh greens. They can have those. That looks pretty nice, I think. I found some tomato sauce for them. They've got their wraps. I think they should be happy with that. I'll put out a bottle of soft drink that they bought. This lunch is not for me. I will go back and get myself a sandwich made with homemade sourdough. Maybe cheese and chutney for me. Okay, so we had a look at those trees over there. We've got the 2 hazelnuts and the fig. This area's been cleared, which is nice. There was only a couple of things in there. One being a loquat, which is a strange fruit, yellow with quite a big stone. I'm not sure what I'll do with it, but somebody gave me the tree. And the weaver's bamboo there. This is a gum tree that I grew from a tiny little seedling, and now it's doing really well. It's a nice tree. Over here I planted 2 cherries, the latest one yesterday, so I'll be able to tell you what they're called. I moved the green gauge to here because it was a bit too close to the others. So that was one planted last year, and this is one planted this year. And this is a lemonade can. This is a cherry, and it's called Lapins. And I'm also writing the year they planted them. So this is a cherry. This is a cherry. This is a Coke can cherry label. This is a mini royal. There we go. There's 2 cherries in here, a green gauge. The chook house is working out well. I feed them in there in the morning, and I shut the gate so they're in there until they finished all their food, and then they come out. They've started laying. Some of the young ones have started laying, which is really great. Quick whip round the veggie garden. Actually, I don't know whether I showed you before, but instead of having pathways around all the fruit trees, I made one big bed, and I've been putting in little bits and pieces like, well, there's poppies in here and the orange calendula. There's, what have I got over here? A Swan River daisy. They've got there's little clumps around the trees of various plants that I hope will grow bigger. More poppies there. In here's a rose cutting that seems to be growing quite well around bulbs. There's some stock over here and more poppies, and over more bulbs here with another rose cutting, and more stock here and more poppies and more bulbs. And more bulbs and more bulbs. This is going to work out okay, I think. So this is also now one bed. Delphinium and California poppies and other poppies in there. More poppies right here. You see there's poppies and poppies. A mint scented, peppermint scented geranium, which will be nice by the door. And over here I've done the same, another bed. And in here more poppies, more osteospermum, more of everything really. More of whatever I can get. Do you know, if you keep wandering around the nursery, you'll find that there's plants that they've put a mark down sticker on. And I tell you what, you can usually get those to grow. Okay, what else has happened? The mulch pile is gradually getting smaller. And here's a new pile of wood, but that's for next year. So I did want it back where the last year's pile was, but because there's a pile of gravel there and a pile of mulch there, he wasn't able to sort of go back any further with his big tip trailer. So that's where it ended up. So what did I do with the old space? Well, I made a garden. All these rocks that you see here around this garden all came from this area. And this took me 2 days to do this garden, which I think will be quite nice. So I was given some bulbs, and that's them in here, and I planted some calendula seedlings that had grown in amongst them. And I planted little bits and pieces. So this is the elderberry that never looked like it was doing any good. It still may not. That's a daisy looking very sick. Here's a beautiful red, it's called flame osteospermum. That'll be nice if it grows. It looks fine at the moment. And that's a leptospermum, a little bush that will ramble over these rocks. There's a few things in here, which is nice. There's still a bit of space to put a few more, and I think this blends in quite well, this rock garden with this rock wall, which is doing really well. Everything in here. Do you remember this is where I had the Cockerzel zucchini was growing in here? Most of these lavenders are cuttings from the original one. I took cuttings and they did quite well. So everything's growing. So this is winter, and it feels to me like it's about 30 degrees, but of course it's not. It's probably about maybe 18, 19 degrees, but it's warm. So that's what's happening here. That's new. We haven't had any rain, so it's dry. But I tell you what, underneath, when I plant things and move this mulch away, it's damp. Like, how did that happen? It seems to be just sucking up moisture from somewhere. So there you go, and we haven't had any rain. So the mulch is working out really well. I moved this citrus because it was a bit close to that other citrus over there. and it seems to have taken to the move quite well. More poppies. I grew these from seed and they're looking really well. I think they're the red Flanders. So even though this looks pretty empty now, this garden and that garden and that garden, you'll be surprised. They will fill up and look beautiful. The veggies are powering along: cauliflowers, broccolis, kales, cabbages, broad beans, Brussels sprouts, garlic, you name it, it's growing well in there. I like this garden, all the yellow calendulas, like they've just grown from seed that dropped last year, and I think that's really lovely. And the borage is starting to flower. So can you imagine this is a blue and yellow garden? That'll be lovely. These are all the black currants in here. Blackcurrant bushes, gooseberry bushes, bare of leaves in the winter, but we've got these lovely bee attracting flowers growing in the meantime. Perfect, perfect, perfect. These guys are going to have burnt sausages, but there you go. I'm not a cook for them. I'm loving my bike still, of course. Nick around on my bike and pick up other people's soft drink cans. I don't drink it myself, but like I said, they make good labels. So I keep a bag on there, you know, to pick up things as I ride around. So I cannot fault this bike. Everything about it I really like. And I really like Brisbane electric bikes because they're just great customer service. Can't fault it. So I would recommend them, you know, to anybody on the east coast of Australia if they're thinking about buying an electric bike. And I would recommend the Go Cycle. Okay, better have a look at those sausages, or else they'll have burnt offerings. And I'll talk to you again soon. I'll see you again soon. Okay, bye.